How's it going, guys? I'm Charlie Robinton with Emerald Water Anglers, and today I'm going to be tying my dragon leech. Here it is right here. Let me give you a little close-up view. You can see this is basically just a standard leech pattern. Added a little bit of marabou for a collar, also some guinea, and then underneath I've placed small tough, this is temple dog fur. You can also use Arctic fox just to give it some extra contrast and movement. This fly is really nice because unlike some leeches that really tend to slim down in the water, this one's got some profile. Marabou gives it some extra movement and also gives it a nice big profile in the water. It's a great winter fly. The black and blue is an awesome combination for the streams out here in western Washington, but pretty much anywhere, you know, low light situations, black and blue is a killer color. So give it a try. Dragon leech. Dragon leech. Okay, so in the last segment we talked about how to secure the trailer hook to the Waddington shank. So I'm going to skip that and go straight to the brass eyes. Now with brass eyes, biggest thing is you want to make sure that you get them on straight. It's kind of tough when you're tying sideways on a Waddington shank like I am, but you can get it done. Just make sure that you apply even pressure as you're doing your wraps. Start off, I'll just do some hourglass wraps. Once I get it semi-secure, I'll start doing several on either side, then pulling it tight, and then doing, you know, 3 or 4 on the other side. And I'll just keep going like that till I've built up kind of a nice head. Make sure it's nice and solid. About halfway through, I'll take a look. Make sure that everything's turning out straight and throw some glue on there. Now if you notice when I'm tying, I pretty much glue in every major step, especially when I'm doing flies like this for steelhead or saltwater use, stuff that's going to be getting cast around. You know, I make these flies, I cast these with a spey rod, so they take a lot of abuse just in casting, and then, you know, not to mention when you hook fish on them, the fish kind of tear them up too. So, you know, I don't have a problem, especially steelhead fishing. I don't have a problem with a fly being a one-fish fly, because as long as I catch a fish, man, I'm stoked. But, you know, it'd be nice if they lasted more than one, or at least caught a fish. You know, I've had some flies that fall apart while I'm casting. I don't even get to land a fish on them, and, you know, it's just a waste. So, you know, okay. Got plenty of thread wraps on those eyes. They're nice and secure. So I'm going to go all the way back to the bottom of my Waddington shank. I'm going to tie in some flash. Here I'm using some angel hair. This is nice holographic steelhead ice blue. It's kind of a kingfisher blue color. You get a nice big, but you can get it done. The one thing about angel hair you have to pay attention to is that it likes to slip out after you tie it. So I always tie it in facing forward first and then wrap it back over itself. That way it stays nice and secure, doesn't come out. Again, that goes back to the durability of your fly. You want your fly to be really nice and durable, so you take steps like this. Next step is tying in the rabbit strip. So here I've got 1/4 inch Magnum rabbit, it's great for leeches. I'm going to cut about 4 inches of the hide, and I like to rip off just a little bit off the front here so that I get a nice secure connection when I tie it down to the hook. The other thing I like to do is cut in kind of a triangular shape. Just take one little corner off each side. That also helps me tie it down a little more secure. Now here I'm going to go with the theme of the day, glue, glue, and more glue. This is a very important step. You want to make sure to do something, glue, whether it be glue or, you know, doubling over or whatever, but you want to make sure to do something here to secure that rabbit really firmly to the hook. Because That's the biggest problem with leech patterns that I've seen, is that the rabbit just wants to come out of the fly, wants to come undone. So that guy's glued down. It's got plenty of thread wraps. Next step is I'm going to add in my temple dog fur. Now this is blue temple dog fur. If you can't get temple dog, Arctic fox works just as well. They're pretty much, you know, really similar material. Temple dog is a little more supple maybe. Now when I size this up, I want it to go all the way to the end of my, right to where my trailer hook's going to be. So I'm going to tie it in just at the very end at the butts with that fur. Secure it with some nice strong thread wraps. In the last segment we talked about palmering marabou a little bit, and we're going to do the same thing to do the collar on this fly as we did on that, you know, to make that hobo spay fly. Just palmering marabou. The only difference is that the hobo spay, I used just one strand of marabou. We wanted to make it nice and sparse. You know, it's a real sparse leech pattern, that hobo spay. And that is, you know, kind of a transitional summer, can be used for winter, sort of summer-fall pattern or spring-summer pattern. So it works best when tied sparse. Now this is a big, nasty leech, and it's designed for winter use. So you want it to be nice and full. It's for cold water, it's for lethargic steelhead. So a nice full marabou collar is what we're going for here. You want this fly to have some profile, push some water. And that's what it's going to do. So I'll use 2 of these marabou plumes sandwiched together. Tie them in by the tips, just like I did on that hobo spay. Two or three wraps should make it up to the tie-in point here. And we're just sweeping back as we go. Make sure you're not overlapping any wraps. Make sure all those feathers lay out nicely. Get a nice, beautiful collar. Once you got a couple wraps in there, tie that bad boy off. And after I wrap that down nice and secure, I'm going to do my guinea collar. This fly will be just about done. So choose a nice wide guinea feather here. Just pick off the extra webby saddle, little hackle barbs right at the bottom. Kind of splay it out. Again, it's just going to be palmered, so tie it in by the tip. Make sure it's nice and we're ready for our head. So to do the head, I'm using a dubbing loop, Kingfisher Blue ice dubbing, or I'm sorry, this is actually a holographic trilobal. But ice dubbing works too. Really any kind of just nice blue dubbing, Angora goat would work nicely. create a dubbing loop, wrap up to the front, fill your dubbing loop with your dubbing. And this fly can be tied lots of different color combinations. Some of my favorites are obviously black and blue, pink and white, also solid colors like orange or purple or just solid pink. It's a good color too. Pretty much, you know, just leave it up to your imagination. It's steelhead fishing, so, you know, as long as the fish sees it, you're in business. Alright, probably enough there. Now you spin that guy up, make a rope out of it. Try to make sure you're not catching any excess marabou in there as you spin. Now I'm doing this by hand. There's tools you can use. I've always just done it by hand, but tools definitely make it easier. Now I'll just wrap this forward. And kind of an hourglass around the eyes. And once you're done, tie it off. That guy's almost ready to fish. Look at that. Beautiful. So your final step is to take and actually thread this hook on. All you got to do is punch 2 holes with your bodkin or a needle or some kind of sharp instrument. Thread your Power Pro up through the top and back down so it comes out the bottom. Put a hook on, and there you go. You got a nice, sweet looking dragon leech. You ready to go out and catch a steelhead. Alright, once again, I'm Charlie Robinton with Emerald Water Anglers, and this has been another segment of Fly Tying. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a good night.